Welcome. Thank you for sharing. One of the rewards that is mentioned in the New Testament for prayer is peace. And Paul says in the writing in his letter to the Philippian church, he says that when you present your requests to God with prayer and petition, the peace of God, which passes all understanding, will guard your hearts in Christ Jesus. That's one of the rewards of prayer. I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about who you are and what your life was like before you came to Alpha, and then we'll move on from there.
Okay, so I was brought up in a traditional Catholic church, and I didn't connect with it when I was younger and rebelled against it when I was about 16 years old and decided organized religion was not for me. And I went more into I started a spiritual component in me, so I went the esoteric way, the more mysticism way, and started studying different philosophy and even aspects of Buddhism. And I was searching for something, but organized religion wasn't for me.
So how did you end up on Alpha?
There was a particular thing. I had a chiropractic practice in the UK for many years and also in Cape Town. And although I was studying all these different spiritual things, whenever I met somebody who had this light inside of them and this love and this confidence, and there was something about them. I'd met thousands of people, every walk of life, every level. They were always Christians. And even the most devout people in other faiths didn't have it. The most philosophically strong people didn't have it. It was always Christians. And it reminds me of that Tony Robbins quote, "Success leaves clues." So I was thinking, why is this? Why is this? And my wife is actually one of those people. She has that within her. And then, so I was open to it. And we would come to church. We've gone to various churches. And I listened to things and podcasts and everything. But then I think we met you through the school. Our kids are at the same school. So we came to this church. And I don't know if there was a sign or something that you said about Alpha. And something inside me just said, do it. Very out of my comfort zone. About as far out of my comfort zone as you can possibly be.
Why was it out of your comfort zone, Robby?
I'm introverted by nature, so going into a group of people that I don't know one person is already not great, but then being in small circles in a church and talking about your inner depths with people that you don't know, the voice in the head was saying, don't go, you're too busy. But I came, and once I was here, I thought it can't be too bad. The guy next to me is a presenter on The Bachelorette, so
should be fairly normal. So tell us. So you carried on coming to Alpha. What happened? What changed? What difference did Jesus make to your life?
Yeah, so I came in. I kind of sussed the scene out for a bit. People in my group might tell you I was quite quiet for the first couple of weeks, and my main thing was there was zero judgment, incredibly open atmosphere. You felt like you could say anything. And it was around about week 5 or 6 where I was very in my head trying to work out the logic. I had a lot of doubts, and I'm quite logical in that way. So I was thinking, how can I figure this all out? And then it was around about week, I don't know what week, it was 5 or 6. And I suddenly said, this is true. That's true. And something changed within me, and I believed with every cell in my body now that this is true for the first time in my life.
Wow.
Thank you.
Well, what changed? Did anything change?
So this is, and I've realized this now, the reason why I believe now I met all these Christians that had something different about them was that it went from something out there to a relationship that you just said. That was the main difference. So it wasn't about understanding this authority figure out there. It wasn't about personal development or activating something within yourself. It was about having a relationship with somebody that was connected. Yeah, that's what happened. That's what my wife had, and that's what has, and that's what all those other people had. And I believe that's why Christians have that vibrate at that level that's just different to any other, and what drew me in. So that's probably the major thing that's changed is I've now developed a relationship with my Creator, through Jesus, and prayer has become a part of my life, which was never my entire life.
Sure.
So I align with everything that you're saying here.
Wow. And you're still running with Guy. And
That's
jetting
the
around
other
with
thing,
us,
and
yeah.
I pray when I run with Guy because he's a good runner and he runs up hills pretty fast. And whenever he says he's feeling ill or injured, I love that. It just brings us back into alignment.
Oh,
Yeah. So
thank
yeah,
you.
that was the other thing. I might finish off with this. When was it? About a month ago. I was going through a lot of stress from a business point of view, and we couldn't make it to church, or the family couldn't, so I decided to come by myself, which again, a year ago, for me to come to a church by myself, I never would have thought that. And I stood there in the corner, and I was pretty stressed about things and everything, and when I walked out, I realized it was the first time in my entire life that I was in a church and didn't feel like an outsider. You know, I always felt like an outsider that was visiting, and that day was the first time I sat over there, and I felt like I was part of something. And thank you.
That's
for
amazing.
that.
Thank you. Thanks, Robby. Thank you. Wow. Sure. Thank you, Robby.